Wolverine has been through a lot in the 40 years or so since he made his comics debut, and that means he possesses a really complex and fascinating history, both on and off the page. With his claws, there are always fights that don't end well. These are the 10 things about Wolverine you probably didn't know. So stay till the end because it's sure to grab your attention, and make sure to hit the like and subscribe button as it helps the channel grow. So let's hop in. Number 10. He can grow bone claws. You probably are wondering, how did Wolverine get his claws? Was he born with it? Well, the answer is no. Wolverine's claws were given to him when his bones were laced with adamantium during the Weapon X project, which made his bones metal. The X project mainly had two stages. In the first one, all the nanobots were implanted in Logan's body. These nanites were designed to attach to the bones and to create small valves, artificial pores to allow nutrients into Logan's bones and keep them alive when the adamantium bonding process had been conducted. The second part was feeding him the liquid adamantium only after all this was done. It had to be done fast as adamantium is malleable only for 8 minutes. When the adamantium implantation began, his healing factor first tried to fight it off, excreting it through his sweat glands. Even Logan's incredible healing has its limits, though, and was eventually overcome. That miraculous mutant healing factor may have complicated the Weapon X project, but in the long run it's also the key to Wolverine's survival. Adamantium is toxic, and without his regenerative powers, Logan would have died of adamantium poisoning long ago. Number 9. Smoking ban. Wolverine used to be one of the biggest smokers in the history of Marvel Comics. Yes, this was weird, as most superheroes wouldn't smoke, as they would be later on sold to children. He was seen smoking in various X-Men comic books and later in few movie series, with no smoking being shown in the animated series or video games. This, however, ended in 2001 when Marvel's chief editor Joe Quesada imposed a company-wide smoking ban. As such, Wolverine finally gave up on his cigars. Number 8. Medal of Honor. Wolverine is known for getting the job done either by hook or by crook. As you know, he is known for having slain more than 100 characters throughout the series. As such, at one point in the series, Wolverine is said to have ended John Grey, who was the love of his life. This probably sounded rude, but it means that he is ready to give it all to win a battle. Number 7. First appeared in Hulk title. Despite Wolverine having been a member of the X-Men series, he never had his own comics. Well, his first appearance occurred in Incredible Hulk title 180. Well, in this title he only had a cameo, but in the next title he appears to take on Hulk himself. Number 6. Wolverine's kid DIDN. Did you know that Wolverine had fathered 15 kids? In fact, he didn't even know all of them. Well, but he doesn't deserve the Dad of the Year as he didn't know most of them. Nearly all of them, being mutants, have inherited some of Wolverine's ability as well as their mothers. Well, one of his kids, DIDN, is a darker version of his father. Originally born as a hero, he served on a team called the Dark Avengers. He first appears in the 10th title of Wolverine Origins. In this, he infiltrates the facility and introduces himself to his pops by splashing himself across the stomach and leaving him to bleed out. That's hardly a picture-perfect reunion. Over the years, father and son have clashed again and again, often because DIDN has been under the influence of Romulus or working for supervillains such as Norman Osborn. DIDN's abilities and bone claws are similar to Wolverine's, although he doesn't possess an adamantium skeleton. Number 5. Wolverine's arch rival. Wolverine and Sabretooth don't have a complicated relationship. They just hate each other. Across realities and retcons, that is the one constant between them. Sabretooth and Wolverine made their debuts in the 1970s. As antagonists for already established superheroes, Wolverine memorably as an opponent for the Hulk, while Sabretooth was a hired killer butting heads with Iron Fist. It took nearly a decade before both furry foes finally fought. A fraught history between the two was immediately apparent. Though the specifics have changed over the years, sometimes father and son, sometimes teammates but always enemies, Victor Creed remains the dark reflection of what Logan might become if he isn't careful. The other inevitability between the two is cruelty. There is no relation filled with as much animosity and downright savagery as theirs. Even death, as they have killed one another a bunch of times and can't keep them from tearing each other apart. Number 4. Wolverine loves Mary Jane. As we see in title number 66 of Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter Parker wakes up inside of Wolverine's body while Logan's mind now within Spider-Man's body. The two of them have to live out a day in each other's lives while trying to work out what caused the switch in the first place. Wolverine has to go to all of Peter Parker's classes in high school, while Spider-Man ends up getting caught by the police due to intervening in a crime. During the period of time when Wolverine was in Peter's body, he leers at the cheerleaders who attend Peter's school and tries to get close with the teenage Mary Jane. This is all played for laughs and it's not portrayed as creepy in the slightest. It is revealed that the source of the mind switch was John Gray. She was sick of Wolverine hitting on her, so she put his mind in Spider-Man's body as a punishment. Great plan, Jane. Number 3. Annihilation. When Logan was first announced, many fans assumed that it would be an adaptation of series called Old Man Logan. This was a story set in an alternate universe where the villains of the Marvel world all joined together and took over America. Most of the old heroes had died long ago. Wolverine is still around and lives on a farm with his family. He goes on a journey with Hawkeye in order to earn the rent money he needs to pay to the family of the Hulk. As the story progresses, we see that Wolverine refuses to help Hawkeye on several occasions, as he will not unsheath his claws in battle. The reason he refuses to use his claws is tied to the fate of the X-Men. When the villains all teamed up to take over the world, the Spider-Man villain known as Mysterio was given the task of dealing with X-Men. He used his powers of illusion to make Wolverine think that the X-Men were villains who had invaded the mansion. Wolverine single-handedly murdered the entire team. Number 2. Height is a joke. In the X-Men comic books, Wolverine is noticeably shorter than most members of the team. His height has often been a target of insult from both his friends and enemies. Wolverine has proven on numerous occasions that size doesn't matter, as he has beaten many of Marvel's villains in a fair fight. Logan is named after Mount Logan, which is the tallest mountain in Canada. Claremont thought it would be funny to name the shortest member of the X-Men after one of the biggest things in Canada. While most fans love Hugh Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine, there is no doubt that Jackman does not match the physical characteristics that Logan is known for. Hugh Jackman is over 6 feet tall, making him a physically imposing figure. And then last but not the least, number 1. Return of Wolverine. Yes, the death of Wolverine wasn't easy for MCU fans, but they can officially celebrate his return from the grave. Now that Return of Wolverine has confirmed this living Logan to be the one fans lost, and who brought him back to life. Well, if you're one who reads comics, I'll say it has spoilers. Wolverine was resurrected by Persephone, the apparent mastermind who considers herself to be the queen of the dead. She has the gift which enables her to reanimate the dead, as either mindless bodies for her to pilot telepathically or semi-automated drones. She could restore to convincing recreations of the people they were before they died. Persephone reveals that her mission to raise and manipulate dead mutants like Omega Red and even Logan's son Daken eventually spread to including Wolverine as well. The panels show without a shadow of doubt the resurrection of Logan bursting out of his secret unmarked grave and his mindless submission to Persephone. It was her plan to use him as a weapon or tool like all the other undead mutants. It might seem too good to be true to say that Return of Wolverine ends by restoring Logan completely, but it sure seems that way. Logan is explicitly tells his opponent that he has finally remembered all of his past battles, identities, and trauma. And despite Persephone's offer of a fresh start in a new world, Logan makes it clear for those in the back row: I am back and I'm Wolverine, and that's the way it's gonna be. Well, as of now, these are the 10 things you didn't know about Wolverine. Let me know what are your thoughts in the comment section, and while you're there, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Stay strong, stay tuned, and peace.